It's nice to see everybody here today. I see somebody that's been here before, and I appreciate you coming back. As you know, we're going to go over what UCO does, what WPRF does, and what the responsibility of the associations and the unit owners are. So we're going to start with UCO's mission. We oversee major contracts, security, transportation, roads, cable, and insurance. And we're going to be following the outline that you have in front of you. If you have a question, we'll try to answer it as we go along. Why do we do that? Because in 1999, association signed a bilateral agreement. So in that bilateral agreement, that's the deal that you made with us and we made with you to go over those items. In the UCO office, we do investigations, we do barcodes, we do gate passes, and we notarize paperwork for the association. We also, those of you that have been around, we have a new website. It's unitedcivic.org. All the information is on there. Over the last couple of years, people were requesting forms, packages for investigation for sales and rentals are on there. The form for delegates is on there, and we're trying to make sure that all the forms that you need, you don't have to come to the office, you can download them, but you still have to, some of the forms have to be brought into the office. We do investigation and sales and rental forms. It's up to a board member, not a renter, not a realtor, to drop off the paperwork for it to be investigations to be done by UCO. Why do you want to use UCO for investigations? Because if you get a lawsuit and we did the investigation and we gave you a legal opinion and for some reason they decided to sue the board members or the association, there's a $5,000 deductible and UCO picks up that deductible. But only if we did the investigation and you followed what the attorney's advice was, if you happen to reject the individual. The village is broken up into 4 quadrants. Each quadrant has a vice president. Whatever association you belong to, you call up and there's a vice president there to try to help you. If for some reason your vice president is not there, ask for one of the other vice presidents. If none of the 4 vice presidents are available, you can always ask for me or for Donald, and we will try to assist you. What we will not do is give you legal advice. And most people come in and say, well, I have a question, and it becomes a legal question. You need an attorney for that. You should have a management company. Management company will help you with annual meeting, proper paperwork to be sent out to all unit owners. They will help put a budget together for you. They will help you with elections. There's a procedure that needs to be followed. Letter to be sent out first, notifying your unit owners when there's an election. Second of all, they will be sending out ballots and they should be running your election. And after your election, they will file a form to notify Sunbiz, which notifies the state who the officers are for your building. That should be done on an annual basis. The form that you fill out for us is not the same form that you fill out for Seacrest or Pruitt. It's a separate form. We need update of officers and delegates so that on the first Friday of the month, your building can be represented. Also, your management company can send violations letters for you should they need, if you have someone that's not doing the right thing or you have a bad tenant and you are a unit owner, you can be notified through your management company. Also, every association should have an attorney. That attorney should be used for legal advice and to update your governing documents. and your bylaws. It's very important that all your documents, declaration of condominiums, and bylaws and articles of incorporation all say the same thing. If they don't match and you have a problem, you're going to lose in court. Any questions? Wow, this is good. Miss Eva, you're up. Woman, as you know, Eva takes care of WPRF.
Good morning. Okay, so just wanted to state that WPRF IDs belong to WPRF and are on loan to everyone for good behavior. Good standing, also meaning that the WPRF fees are paid. And that means you have to also follow all posted rules and regulations, which we try to place everywhere. There are no copying. No photos of IDs on phones will be accepted. The original ID must be presented. We have a problem where people are trying to cover an expiration date with a finger. You know, you should hold the card on the outer edges so the guards can see it clearly, and just give them a couple of seconds to look at everything that's on that card. Old IDs, expired IDs, renter IDs, occupant IDs should be turned in, because if they are not turned in, it can interfere with the issuance of new ID cards on that unit. So that's very important that you tell any tenants or occupants that they should give it to you at least to turn it in for them if they don't themselves come to the ID office. COAs. All COAs are going to have to come to YouGo to get their seal of approval on it, and then we can issue an ID. There are two things though. I know in the summer months we don't always have a second board member that can sign, because it does require 2 signatures. So in the summer we will accept 1 board member signature, but we will not accept 2 signatures from board members that are living in the same unit. So that would be very important to know, that we will not accept that. Wanted to jump down to security. Anywhere on rec property, if you feel that your life is in danger, you should be calling 911, okay? But if somebody's breaking WPRF rules, then you would certainly call security and they could come and deal with the issues. But if it's a life safety issue, they are not equipped. They don't carry weapons. They cannot enforce laws, so that has to be 911, and PBSO will come in and handle the issues. I do want to say that if you see something, say something. A lot of people I find are living with certain situations, things that happen at the pool areas. If somebody is constantly loud or using a lot of foul language or saying inappropriate things, you know, you can notify me and I will do my best to identify that person and tell them that they need to stop, because that is not, it doesn't create a pleasant atmosphere for everybody. So you don't have to live with the status quo if it's unpleasant or interfering with your enjoyment of the facilities. If you are going to have somebody who's going to require a personal aid, that's either a friend or a family member that's going to help someone, they should have a WPRF ID, personal aid ID, and it's free to them. It's good for 3 months, but it's free, but they should have an ID that they can show when coming to the facilities with the resident they're taking care of. And if it's a caretaker that's coming in from an agency, then the agency themselves provides them with an ID that they should be wearing at all times when on rec property. And I know that we have issues with dogs or animals in the village. People, you know, ask or see dogs on rec property. We can't ask for paperwork. They don't have to wear a vest. They don't have to wear anything that identifies them as a service animal. And the most that we can do is ask 2 questions, and that is this a trained service animal, and what service have they been trained to perform? And if people lie, they lie, and we have to take them at their word, whether it's true or not. So I know sometimes that can be upsetting, but if the dog is a nuisance and barking and running around and jumping on people, then you could let us know and we can try to handle that situation and ask them to leave the area until the dog has had a chance to calm down. So I think that's really all I have for now. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay, thank you.
All right, the next part is, what is the responsibility of a board member of your association? Your association needs to have directors. It needs to hold annual elections. Even if you have the same people, you still need to have an election and you need to update your paperwork. You're now required to have 4 meetings a year. Every quarter you need to have a meeting, whether it has to be posted, you have to notify everybody what the agenda and the items, but two are very easy. One is your annual meeting and one is your financial meeting for your budget. The other 2, you have to discuss whatever issues you have in your building. You're responsible to maintain your building as officers, or you're supposed to work with your management company. Your officers are supposed to properly do sales and rental paperwork, presenting it to UCO for investigation, and make sure, like I said before, that they are board members, not a realtor, not a renter, and definitely if you are the owner of the apartment and it's going up for sale, even if you are a board or you are the owner and you're renting, you're not allowed to drop off that paperwork. So one of the other officers has to drop it off. All board members need to be certified. They have to have a 4-hour class. I was very happy yesterday when I went to the Condo Expo to see how many people from Century Village were there. Century Village had a pretty good turnout. Yeah. Delegates, you should have delegates attend your meeting on the first Friday of every month to represent your building. Also, we hand out packages. There's a lot of information in those packages. There's financial information, what's going on, if we have shredding events, whether we have pill drops, we have flyers in there. Bring them back to your board, put them on the board so that everybody knows. We try to give you at least a month's notice when we're going to be doing these things. And anything else, if WPRF has an event, they give us a flyer, we'll make sure it's available in the paper, on TV, and in that package. Unit owners, officers should have a list of all the unit owners in your building. You should try to update at least once a year. Corporate seal, the little thing, the papal seal that you need, that needs to be in the building. If you are an officer, make sure that you're the one that has that seal. Don't let anybody take it out of state. Should not be more than 40 miles from your condo. That's what gives you need that to approve sales, to approve rentals, and anything else that you need your corporate seal on. Okay? If for some reason either the president or one of the officers has removed it, they took it with them to Canada, California, wherever they are, please get another one. It's about $20, $25. It takes a couple of days. But you should always have a corporate seal on hand. When you have new owners or new renters, please notify them of the UCO reporter, the TV channels 590, 591, and 592, and the community website. We have lots of information. We update it almost on a daily basis. Joanne takes care of updating it. WPRF gives us something. There's something going on at the clubhouse. A couple of months ago, the elevator was broken, and within an hour, we had it up on the website that the elevator was broken. So make yourself available of those channels, look at them. There's a lot of information on there. All work done in the building should be done by a licensed and insured tradesperson. Even a handyman should be licensed, and if you make sure, if you are a board member, that the work that's being done is done by a competent person. Board members should, again, new owners, new renters, explain what a common element of the building is. Everybody knows what a common element, the patio in the back is a limited common element. It belongs to the building, but the individual unit owner has it. The walkways, parking spots, anything that gets people, anybody has the right to walk around through is a common element of the building. Interior walls, the big thing, everybody wants to update and modernize their kitchens or walls, and they take out walls. The unit owner does not own those walls. They're owned by the association. So if anybody wants to remove that wall, they need permission from the board and sometimes from the membership, depending on what they want to do. They need architect, they need engineering, they need all these things before any of that could be done. If you have 25 units or more, as of this January 2026, you now have to have a website. It's got to be done. All your information that belonging to your building has to be listed on there. There's the statute now requires that everybody have financials, rules, regulations, bylaws, anything, minutes of meetings have to be listed on there for at least 1 year. If you have work done, you need to have estimates. You need to have minutes of a meeting, that who approved it, by the number, painting the building or anything. It all has to be listed on that website. Any other paperwork that you have on there should be on there for at least 7 years. But all your financials need to be on there. Also, part of House Bill 913 now requires, it was a little hazy in the beginning, that it was up to the board. If someone requested your bylaws, rules and regulations and finances, it was up to the board to give it to whoever asked for it. It's now been clarified that if you're putting your apartment up for sale, it is the unit owner's responsibility to give that to the real estate, not the board. But the board is still responsible to give it to the unit owner. So if you have it on the website, you can direct your owner to the website and they can download whatever they want. Okay? And you can limit that. It's going to become more and more the use of the website. We went from 150 to 25, and after listening to yesterday, the day's going to come that every association is going to need a website. So we at UCO, myself personally, I'm telling everybody, whether you have 16 units or 24 units, you should have a website. It makes your life a lot easier. Directors and officers claim if you're an officer and for some reason you're going to get sued, there's a time limit in which you can apply inform your insurance carrier that you have a claim. We had a situation where an individual association decided to go to court. They lost in court, and then they called us and they said, well, we need to put in a claim. And there's a time limit. They had no insurance. So they lost, not only did they lose the case, they lost the money. It's up to the association to have a census every 2 years. Years ago it was mandatory. You had to send it into the state. Now it is just up to the building. But every 2 years you need to file, every single unit owner, you should have a copy of their ID and how old they are, and you have to do that at least every 2 years. Why is that important? In one of our associations, there was a lawsuit, and the individual sued because I guess it was underage or whatever. It was a discrimination lawsuit, and the first thing that the attorney asked for, where is your census? They hadn't taken a census, so guess what? They lost before they ever started. And House Bill 913. House Bill 913 is still, there's a lot of things on there. And it's very important that you make yourself available, go on the computer and read up on House Bill 913. It puts a lot of burden on the associations, and as I found out yesterday, there can be civil action taken against officers that are not following their rules, regulations, bylaws. If your building is falling apart and somebody puts in a complaint to DBPR, DBPR now can charge you criminally. So the best thing to do is not to be put in that situation. Questions? Yes?
Well, I'm Renate from Coventry Beach.
Yes.
Is there any news from La Quinta?
La Quinta?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yes and no. The property has not yet been conveyed to the county. It's still owned by the previous owner. Apparently there's some issues that need to be resolved before the closing can happen. One of them is there are tax liens on the property. The actual La Quinta operator has left. So it's no longer a motel, it's not in operation. Most recently, this past week, the lights went out on the property, it was pitch black. What it turned out was that the La Quinta operator who left was the one paying the electric bill, and when he didn't pay the bill, FP&L cut it off. So I brought that to the attention of the county jumped right on it, and by the next day, the lights were back on. So it's still in play. So nothing's happening. You'll get more about this at the delegate assembly.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get somebody from the county there to give you guys all an update. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give them an update about Haverhill and the drainage.
Oh, I got a few construction things if you want me to run through them.
Yeah, go ahead then.
All right, so there's quite a bit of construction going on right now in and around the village that will affect you, particularly if you're driving. The first is Century Boulevard. I'm sure you guys has noticed the flooding on both sides. That flooding is related to the construction that's happening on the old golf course. The construction company there is doing everything they can to mediate that flooding, but we're going to have to live with it to some extent until they get their storm drain system installed, which is happening right now. This morning they were out there digging up a bigger ditch for the water to go into, so I'm hoping that will help a little bit. So we all have to be careful. Second thing is, right outside the Haverhill entrance on Haverhill Road, I'm sure you've noticed that there's construction going on there. They're widening the road, and they're getting ready to put in a permanent concrete divider in the middle of the road to stop illegal U-turns. So that's a little bit of an issue with the buses, with the school buses, and with us coming in and out of the place. So that's a little bit of an issue right now. I just found out yesterday that the state of Florida, Florida Department of Transportation, is about to start a project on Okeechobee Boulevard. This would be Okeechobee and Haverhill and east of there. They're going to be widening that road and putting in new signals and new street lights. The lane closures there will only happen at night, but you're still going to see trucks, and it's going to be a little tight this season with traffic outside the village. As far as inside the village, we have two projects in play right now. The first is South Canal. Right now, we have a construction company redredging the canal. They're working in the Windsor section, and they're going to be working straight across to the Bedford section, Southampton. So you're going to see big machines coming in. They pretty much won't get in your way unless you live next to the canal. And after the South Canal is done, we're gonna move into the North Canal, same thing, big machines coming in, and that would affect you more in Coventry than North Canal. So that's what we got going on, and we just have to kind of live with it. Construction's gonna happen, okay?
Fence, tell me to put the fence up.
Oh, yeah, right now, the construction company is working in the Windsor section, that's section 1 of the canal. As soon as that section is complete and the sod is down, which is actually happening today, we're gonna get that section fenced. I know that's been an issue of concern for the people living in the Windsor section. So, we're not gonna wait till the whole project is done, we're gonna fence section at a time, just to make sure that it's really to more to put people at ease than anything else. What else?
Laundry, renovation of the laundry.
Oh, yeah, we have a ready-to-start project at the Plymouth Laundry. Do any of you use the Plymouth Laundry? That's our community laundry on North Drive. That building is going to be completely gut renovated. So it's pretty old, so that project is happening now. Contractor's been hired, they've applied for permits, and you'll see pictures in my report as the work happens. What, am I forgetting anything else?
New equipment will come in.
But yeah, possibly there'll be new equipment coming in, washers and dryers. They may have, instead of having to deal with quarters, you just swipe your credit or debit card. So that's what we got cooking at the moment. Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, Joanne, would you want to say something about the budget?
Well, over the last few months, we've done a lot of work, and between the WPRF budget and the UCO budget, your monthly fees are only going up, I think, under $5. It'd be a very small increase for next year. So we worked really hard, because some of our buildings are going to see very large increases because of their reserve studies, like Greenbrier, like Dover, and the Wellington building. So some of our associations are going to have association-related increases. So we, on our side, wanted to be sure that the rest, that we are not contributing a lot to their burden, because we realize, we all have to live here. And if there's any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them. But that's it for me.
Anything else? I know you have a question, I could tell. Ask it, don't be afraid.
No, I was just wondering about the board
Certification, yes.
Last year we had like here we had are you gonna have it still?
We're gonna try, okay?
There was one yesterday, I believe the next one will be in February. At the condo, at the HOA Condo Expo downtown.
I know I go down there, so.
All right, well, we will be looking into it, having it here,
Oh, it'll be the same.
okay? Anything else? Yes?
Yeah, you will announce it, right, when it will be here, the certificate?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well,
Since you just reminded me, I'm sending an email to the lawyer right now.
Okay, to Friedman.
No time but now.
yeah,
Would be great, I like it better here too.
anything else?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
but the 4-hour certification, I took, it was when, in January, I believe.
Okay,
So do I have to take already?
there's a
now?
1-hour update class that you have to
Already?
take. Yes. Yes,
In January? 1 hour?
well, let's put it this way, I've done it 5 times, and I still had to do my 1-hour update.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So, I was fortunate that I did not know when I saw it listed at the Condo Expo,
Okay,
they mentioned nothing about the 1-hour update, but yesterday, when you went into the 4-hour class, if you had already done the 4-hour class, the last 45 minutes to an hour counted for the 1-hour update class.
Oh, so they're both together.
Yesterday's presentation did both of them together,
Okay.
yeah. So, And I understand the person that was doing the presentation said without doing the 1 hour class, without hearing the first part, doesn't make any sense. And most of it had to do with legal updates, financial responsibility, the officers that could be charged with a civil offense. So
Oh,
a lot of things coming down the pike to make the association's life a little more,
difficult.
yes, and it was, he said it was gonna be a little difficult, yes. But,
But the one update, the 1 hour, needs to be every year.
yes, yep.
And the 4 hour is done for life.
7 years.
No, it's good for 7 years,
Oh, for 7 years.
yes.
Oh,
And you're lucky because if you were an HOA instead of a condo,
uh-huh.
you have to do 4 hours every year.
For 4 years.
Yeah, and it's only good for 4 years.
Oh, I thought we had to do it 4 years every year.
No,
4 hours every year. No?
no, it's just you do the 4 hours and then you do the 1 hour update, and that'll be good for 7 years, and then you have to do it all over again.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
Okay.
if you're over 75.
Anything else?
No,
No?
no, no.
Okay.
7 years.
Well, I appreciate your coming, and it was a little short one today, but thank you. We'll try to advertise it and get more people here. This is the time to ask the questions.
Yeah, I maybe have one more.
Sure.
I don't know, we have a new security.
Yes.
people now. It was about, 5 months ago or so, when we had stayed the old security. I had in front of my unit, the parking lot, there was somebody who parked there overnight and lived there more or less. And so I watched this person, and he even had a dog. And he got, well, anyway, he lived there, it was for 4 or 5 days. And more or less it annoyed me a little bit, because whenever he did his lunch, he threw all the papers around and let the dog poo on the yard and so. Anyway, I called the security at that time. And they told me, oh no, that's not our problem, you have to call the police. Well, I do not like to call the police, to be really honest. Anyhow, so the thing was then finally revolved, but they said, okay, we sent somebody. Another a neighbor, I told her about when she came home from work, she said, oh, I'll wait for you too, for the security. Nobody from the security ever showed up. So I told that then one of our board members, the president, and so the treasurer, and I said, Patrick, so and so, that happened or not. And so anyway, he called then finally, he told me then the next day, at 5 o'clock in the morning, the security and the police, he had called the police to showed up and served the whole house. So who do I call now, really, the security or the police? Because the security told me it's not our problem.
All right, so you said a few things there, so I'll try to address as many as I can remember. The first is, it is very common for Century Village residents, given our ages, to be somewhat reticent about being the one that makes the phone call to the police. You don't want to you don't want to give them your name. You're worried about somebody taking revenge or something like that. We understand that. I remember the incident that you were talking to. Yes, police is definitely. If you see a suspicious person, someone who's doing things they shouldn't, you call the police. Don't feel bad about that. I've never known a case where the police have given your name to anybody else. It won't happen. All right, so, but that's thing number one. Thing number two is, yes, after you call the police, definitely call security. Now, in your case, we're not sure whether you which security you called. We think you may have called the clubhouse security, which is a totally different operation. But what you did after that was exactly right. You called Patrick. Patrick has my cell phone number. So he called me, and that's how you got the police and everybody, we got that thing straightened out. So all the things you did were correct, but please don't feel reticent about calling the police. You have nothing to worry about. And don't feel like you're bothering the police, because they'd rather you call than not call. All right? But I know the thing you're talking about, it got straightened out.
Good. The thing is, no, not that I'm afraid to call the police, but more or less my question is that what for is the security then there anyway, or makes their rounds then at night or whenever?
Right, so security's job in our contract are two things: access control and observe and report patrol. Yes, they are roaming all night, and every one of those cars has a GPS, so we know where they are. The vendor knows where they are at all times, that they're moving. If they pass by a van and there's nothing to see, they're just gonna keep driving. What I think the ball drop here was that whoever took that call didn't pass it on the way it should have been passed on. But ultimately, it gets back to me, and you know, I get up and put my bathrobe on and go over in the car. So yes, it is security's job, but again, they can't call 911 or the police for things that they did not personally see. They can't do secondhand reports. Only you can do that.
Right.
So I always say police first, security next, let your board know after that. Because there's a couple of things there. There's possible criminal activity, there's code enforcement issues, right? You can't be living in a car, and there's also a condo administration situation. That's really what was going on there.
Okay, so I don't, the security is
Just a driver.
just for fun.
It's,
No.
they do some very important work here, and
Right.
but the deterrence aspect of what they do is quite effective. But they are not just for fun, but they were also not policemen. Okay?
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
But I wouldn't call it 911 for littering.
No, there's a non-emergency number, that's a judgment call on your part. Yes, you're absolutely right. Littering, you know, things that are fire, flood, or blood. Yeah, use the non-emergency number. But if you feel threatened in any way, call 911. Better
Yeah.
safe than sorry.
That's obvious.
If
but,
somebody's sleeping in the car overnight, they're not supposed to be there. So 911 is the call that you make,
Oh,
okay?
And what'll happen is you call 911. Let's say we'll use your situation as an example. If the police had showed up, automatically security would have followed him to the site, because they call when the police come in, they call the rover and say, police just came in. He finds them, follows them to the site, and then he makes an incident report. That incident report gets to me, and that's something that I could follow up on or our security director. I follow up on it as a contract compliance issue, and then security's, so that's kind of all it gets around.
that's good.
All right?
But I agree with her. The security here is for fun, because all they do is harass you about your IDs. And
Well, that's their job, and it's not fun. That's a serious thing.
But they should have followed up on the littering.
Now, this is we have a contract with this vendor, and it's very specific what they do. They are not they're not the property managers, right? Littering is a property management issue, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's destroying the property, the board has to get on top of that. If they're doing it on Yuko property, I have to get on top of that. They're not policemen. They're not supposed to be in harm's way. They're not supposed to fight crime, investigate crimes. That's not their job. So if you want to call what they do fun, that's on you. We don't see it that way.
Yeah, right.
But
I never meant it.
They're not policemen. You know, they're not the private police of Century Village, let's put it that way. The police are the police of Century Village. What do you think, Eva? Yeah, that's another key thing they do here, and that's not fun, and you know that more than most. Our vendors do, our security vendor does welfare checks. The next door neighbor hasn't come out of her apartment in 3 days, and our newspapers are piling up. or the daughter comes from New Jersey and nobody's answering the phone, they'll call security. Security will knock on the door and check to see if they're okay. If they get a no answer, or they think they call the police. So that's what I'd say. That's the most important thing they do
We
here.
also work hand in hand with PBSO on
Sure.
some issues
Absolutely.
and aid them by, right, so.
Exactly.
it's
They
not
they
for
work
fun.
with PBSO, but they
Yeah.
don't substitute for PBSO, right?
Yes.
Louisa.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sorry, I was running, I didn't know you had the meeting, because before I called, the security and a lady from Moritz answered my call, and I asked her, is the meeting today with the UCO president? And then she looked something and she said it was yesterday. And then I called again, before I came here, I called again. Why? I wrote it down in my calendar and I look here and then I said, it must be today. So that's why I was running late.
Louisa, we're not mad if you're for running late, it's not a problem. As far as San Moritz being in charge of the UCO meeting schedules, that's not their job either. Ruth puts the meeting schedules in the newspaper, which everybody gets at their house, but security doesn't keep track of the UCO meeting schedule. All right, so that's kind of on you to read the paper and maybe cut out the schedule and put it on the fridge.
No, I wrote it down in my calendar.
I understand, but you should have been calling the clubhouse, not St. Moritz.
San Moritz doesn't work at the clubhouse.
St. Moritz doesn't handle the clubhouse, that's why they didn't know.
They don't work here.
Not
No.
yet, no. Right now, there's, go ahead, Eva.
Okay.
Hi, so WPRF budget goes into effect, the new one goes into effect November 1st. As of November 1st, San Moritz will be here as well. But right now, we're finishing up with Platinum, we're letting the contract run out. Okay, but security gets, at the front desk, they get a schedule of everything that's going on and in what room, and that's where you need to be calling. So that number is 561-640-3118. And then they can tell you what's going on in the clubhouse, in what room and at what time.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Can I get you something? Oh, I wanted to apply, I don't know if I had to say here. I want to apply for the barcode employee that you need, a volunteer.
We have a volunteer right now.
Oh, you
We just,
have it already?
someone just came in, yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to volunteer.
Okay,
One more.
yes.
I have one more question. What's going on with that property right behind your UCO building? The surplus.
Oh, somebody's paying attention. Glad to hear it. Okay, really nothing has happened. That property has been declared surplus
Yeah.
by the county. They are working on what amounts to an RFP. They're going, a request for proposal for developers who purchase that property and convert it to housing. The last time I heard about this, what they're looking to put there is rentals for people of limited means or tested means over 62 years old. So I don't think we would have heard if anything moved forward with that, but I don't think anything has.
We don't want to purchase that? Century Village?
Nah,
Not really, because the only thing that we can put, that they want a building that can be, people that have limited income to live there.
Oh, okay.
and they're specific about housing, no
Right.
commercial, no doctor's offices.
Oh,
Right.
right.
I mean, that could change, but that's the last thing we've heard.
The last thing we heard, they want 100 rooms over there. We have a hard time, 100 rooms, 100
Yeah,
units.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we're not in the business of management of
No, right.
that type of property.
But nothing is going on there yet.
One thing good about this county government, anything goes on outside these gates, we do get heads up. They always,
Yeah.
so, and that allows us to keep you guys apprised what's
Yeah.
going on. So, no news, I guess, is good news.
That's it.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So let me ask